So today we're going to be talking about risk management. That's going to be today's topic. I'll go over everything from a smaller port to a larger portfolio and explain how I personally do my risk management and how you should do it too. So I'm going to move to my screen here so I can explain different examples from different types of portfolios, okay? So let's start. We're going to start with a smaller portfolio. Let's say someone has $1,000, right? So $1,000. This is the port. This is how much they have in their portfolio to trade. This is going to be only specific to options trading, okay? And this could be swing trading, 0DT that I do, so intraday, really whatever type of trading you're doing. Kind of has the same principle. So per trade, what I recommend, let's say you have $1,000, I recommend nothing more than $100. So $100. And we can put this here. So nothing more than $100 per trade, and this is on a high confidence. So high confidence. So on a high confidence play, we're going to risk maximum $100 per trade if you have $1,000 in the port. Now, obviously, if you have, let's say, $500, this would be 50, right? So $500, this would be $50 for a high confidence play. Let's say this is your port. Now, what you can also do, let's say contracts, you can't find any contracts that are $50 or less, right? What I recommend, let's say you are only trading $500, you could increase your risk, but you have to keep stop losses. So let's say on a $500 port and you risk 125, which is a lot, right? From a $500 port, this is a good amount of money. So on this, what I would recommend is keep your stop loss at negative 40%. On this, if this goes to negative 99%, at least you're safe. At least you only lost 10%, which is a lot. But let's say per day, I wouldn't risk more than $100 if you're trying to be safe. On a $500 port, it's going to be a little hard for you to find contracts that are $50 or less. So if you do trade, let's say $125, it's a little outrageous for this port, but if ever you do, keep your stop losses at about 40%. And worst case, you just re-enter, right? And then the value of the contract could go down. So that's how I would do it for $500 port, $1,000 port. Now let's move to the big boys, okay? So if you have $10,000, I'll write this quickly. This is your port, okay? So this is where you get into hotter waters, right? So on this, you could use the same principle, and I would do maximum $1,000 per trade on high confidence again. So maximum $1,000 per trade. So per trade. If you plan on trading more than once per day, I would bring this at least half it. So 500 to, or let's say 250 to 500, okay? And this would be per trade again, per trade. If you're trading more than once, $1,000. If you're trading, let's say once per day, that's what I do, okay? And let's say you are trading a big number, right, for your options. Let's say you have a 100K port. This is where I would risk much less. So 2.5% to 5%. So this is 2,500 to 5K per trade, okay? That's how I would do it. This is per trade. If you are doing swing trading, which is longer timing, a little less risky, on a 10K port, I would do, and then we'll do the 100K also. For the 10K port, I would do maybe 2,500 maximum, right? And this is stuff you'll be holding for maybe 1 week to 1 month, okay? And same thing here, I would keep this below 25K. Okay, same type of principle. This would be for swing trading. Okay, so this is higher probability of maybe winning, and stop losses, I would keep this around 25% stop loss. Okay, same thing for this one, same thing here. Okay, so that's how I would manage my risk for these ports, right? On a day trading thing with smaller ports, keep it to this. Okay, if you have a smaller port, keep it to this. Now, it's going to be very hard for you to start options trading, at least that's kind of what I'm doing, with $100. This is where I would recommend prop firms. Prop firms. Now, I don't know much about prop firms because I've only done this. I've only gone from, let's say, this to this, and then this to this. Okay? We are not quite here yet. So you kind of go like this. If you have $100 or less, let's say you have $100 or less, what I would recommend for this is buy prop firm accounts. A 50K funded should cost you about $50. Cost you about $50. So you can get 2 of those. What I would recommend is you get 2 of these. So you get 2 of these. Okay. And what you do to pass a funded account, at least from other traders I've seen that do trade funded accounts, what you do is you full port the eval, full port eval. And what you can do, if you have 2, what you do is this one you go for longs, and this one you go for shorts. If you know what you're doing, you just know what you're doing. So you use one, you use both maybe on the same play. I don't recommend that because you could just lose both instantly. So you could do this method where you use one for longs, one for shorts. First one that hits, that's a free funded, right? Once you're funded, use the same principles as we spoke up here. Same thing, I wouldn't keep it more than that. And then once you get your, I think funded it's 5% to 10%. Once you have that, you can get payout. Okay, and once you have that, instantly get the payout, don't try to do more. Once you get the payout available, take it. So that's how I would risk manage all of these. Now, what I recommend for a risk management, maybe educational book, I'll pull that up right now. So this is the book I recommend for anyone trying to get really into trading, Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas, an amazing educational book. It talks about psychology, risk management, nothing about strategy, that you have to do your own. But yeah, this is a great educational book for you. Highly recommend. I've read this one personally twice. Okay, when I started trading and recently, probably like a month and a half ago. Yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about here for the risk management is that, let's say on a week you lose 3 trades in a row. 3 trade loss. After you've done this, I recommend you cut your risk by half. So cut risk by 50%. Okay? That's what I recommend. Cut risk by 50%. Once you're back up to your original amount, then you go back to 100% of, let's say, your, so 100%, I mean you go back to either this, or a smaller port, this. Okay? So that's what I recommend for the risk management. Honestly, this was a short video, just quick. You don't really need to know more about risk management. That's really it. So yeah, that'll be it for today. For this video at least. Discord, first link in the description. I call out all the plays I do, live, completely live. First link in the description. So see you guys later. Peace.